Good afternoon, Maurice. Oh, call me Frenchie. Everyone does. Oh, I won't be doing that, and neither would anybody else if you were to get a position of the handyman here. So thank you very much for applying. Please tell me about your past experience. Well, I used to be a delivery man for an abbey in Romania, so no handyman experience. Hmm. Tell me about your previous employment. Well, like I said, I was working as a delivery man for an abbey in Romania until a nun was killed by a demon. And then I was working at a church in Europe until a priest was killed by a demon. And then I was working recently at a church in Tucson until a priest was killed by a demon. And well, now I'm here. Mm, okay. Not a great record, and you seem to carry a bit of a curse around with you, you could say. Yeah, I guess you could say that. I will kill everybody. What was that? Nothing? Okay. Well, as you know, we are an all girls boarding school, and as a result, we have to make sure that any men that we have working here are, in fact, honourable and respectable. And I'm sure that you are as honourable and respectable as what we're looking for. Of course, I did have my fair share of escapades back in Romania. I'd say I had quite a few dads knocking on my door demanding to know what I'd done with their daughters, if you know what I mean. But that's all in the past now. Um, I'm different. Okay. Well, fortunately for you, nobody else actually applied for this role. So, congratulations. The job's yours. Oh, thank you. You won't regret it. I will kill everybody. Something tells me I will. So, The Nun 2 is a movie released in 2023 starring Thaisa Farmiga, Jonas Blockwed, Storm Reed, Anna Popplewell, and Bonnie Aarons, and directed by Michael Chavez. Now, this movie is a direct sequel to the previous Nun movie and is also part of the wider Conjuring Universe, once again featuring the demon Valak. So the movie begins with a murder of a priest in a demonic manner, where he essentially is just lifted up and is set on fire by unknown forces. What we do see is that Frenchie is there, and based on the previous movie or the ending of the previous movie, we know that Frenchie is possessed by Valak, and he is clearly carrying the demon to various places where he's been. And after the priest is murdered, Frenchie then leaves. And we then catch up with Thaisa Farmiga's sister Irene and see where she is to realise now that she is actually, if you call it, qualified as a nun. And she is essentially sent to investigate the string of demonic murders that have happened across Europe stemming from Romania. Based on her previous experience with dealing with Valek, the church recruits her to go and deal with it again. However, this time, Father Burke is no longer around as he died from cholera. Now, the whole point of this movie is the fact that Valak is searching for a relic to restore their power to that of an angel, which we learn Valak previously was an angel rejected by God. So the relic they're looking for are the Eyes of St. Lucy, which is, strangely enough, buried at the boarding school where Frenchie has just been recruited or just been hired as a handyman, despite the fact he's got no experience, as was alluded to at the introduction of this video. But yeah, essentially then Sister Irene has to then go on a hunt to try and find out where Valak is going to be, or where she is and what she's looking for, and how to stop her as well, or how to stop them. Now, this movie is better than the previous one. I don't really think it could have got worse, but this movie does sort of step it up. It does give a return to the sort of drawn out tension building scenes which have been missing from the previous one. as well as it committing fully to the horror element. Frenchie is brought back as Maurice now. He's not referred to as Frenchie. It does give him a little bit more seriousness behind his character, but it does, he is toned down a lot more in this movie, and I was just so pleased that after knowing it was going to be in it, I thought the worst. I thought I was going to have to go through another painful experience of what I had to in the last one, but luckily, no, it is more of a case where he is more in line with someone who is possessed. However, the rules do sort of seem to change. One minute he seems to be sort of, the demon is controlling him to commit the murders, and the next minute the demon is another entity that comes out of him and he's unaware of it and able to move independently. It does sort of change here, there and everywhere. But, you know, the lore of Valak does sort of expand as well with the sort of new information that Valak was a fallen angel, albeit that is posed as a theory by sort of like the Catholic archives, but seems to be inserted as fact afterwards. But yeah, who knows? Taissa Farmiga is once again very good in this movie. She does do a lot with the script and does seem to elevate it to the next level. But this movie does suffer from trying to shoehorn too much information in, I think. You have, I mean, it's a pretty basic premise. At the end of the day, Valak is on a quest to try and recover this relic, killing people as they see fit, sort of along the way. There are descendants of St. Lucy that she's just trying to get rid of because they've got, like, they're drawn to the relic as well, so they could undo what she's trying, or what the demon's trying to do. All of that makes sense. But then you're trying to insert too much going on, sort of like a relationship that Frenchie has towards one of the I think the parent of a girl that goes to the boarding school, the female boarding school where he's working, and all of that. It doesn't really add anything to it. It just adds a little bit more of a tragic element. The fact that this girl is going to try and be killed by Valak, even though he's got an affinity towards her, but it doesn't really change anything. Some of the special effects in this, though, are absolutely superb. I mean, there's one scene in particular where Sister Irene is outside a newsstand in France, and the pages start turning and turn until it slowly, out of all the individual pages, make up one large image of Valak. And it is sort of like a dream sequence. Well, you don't know if it is a dream or actually reality, but it is such a powerful image, because it's a case where Valak isn't going anywhere. She's staying with her throughout and is going to continue to haunt her for as long as possible. It's not really explained where that tie comes in. I mean, it is sort of loosely sort of mentioned that she and Frenchie Maurice have a sort of like a lifelong tie because he saved her life. And yeah, it's quite loose and just almost flippantly sort of put in there, but either way it works. The pacing of this movie is a bit of a mixed bag. I mean, at 1 minute you've got a decent sort of run of Sister Irene trying to work out where Valak is going to be and what she's looking for, and that is interesting to watch. But the rest of it is very much stalled in Frenchie's sort of work as a handyman. He's not really doing anything to try and find this relic. He's not really doing any investigation work himself, or Valak through him. It is just very much he's there and building up this relationship with this woman and her daughter, and that's it. Some of the scares in this movie are quite good as well. You do have sort of like more of the gory element, but it's that use of sort of people that are close to the characters they're after, or they're targeting, to try and sort of lure them in and then execute them. And it is done very well again in this movie. Overall, I did enjoy this movie to an extent. It is certainly an improvement from the previous movie. Like I said, it couldn't get any worse, but it certainly is nowhere near to the same standard as what the other Conjuring movies or the Annabelle movies are either. So I'll give this one 3 stars overall. So that was my review of The Nun 2. Have you guys seen it? What did you guys think about it? Whatever you guys thought, please pop it in the comment section below. Thank you guys once again for watching this video. As always, please don't forget to like and subscribe. This is the end of the Conjuring Universe so far, up until the new one that does come out. But there will be plenty of other content coming on this channel in between that time. So stick around if you want to see any more. Until then, you guys take it easy, and I'll catch you on the next one.